focused on not so much the art of sharing, career chatting, personality styles, or any of that. It's more focused on the very initial, from the very beginning, to how to get them to come to an event, or how to get them to get on the phone with your director, or how to get them to that point, because we do a lot of training focused on how to actually do an interview or a career chat, but that's not what we're talking about tonight at all, okay? Because everybody in this room has a super awesome director, I mean, especially Jeremiah, no, I'm just kidding. Everybody here has a super awesome director that will absolutely take care of the interview process, the overcoming objections, all of that for you. So we just need you to do your part in getting them there. So that's what we're going to focus on. And so I'm going to have to talk about this part. So it starts at the very beginning of your party. And so the reason, let me explain one reason why we're going to bounce back and forth, because those of you who know me and know my style know that I built my entire unit on layering. Every single person in my unit was layered. Okay, I didn't recruit a single person on the spot at a party at all. Okay, now I do, but at the time, before I became a director, I never recruited on the spot, not one time. Everybody was layered. Some of them were layered 2 months, some of them were layered 1.5 years. Okay, but I take my layering seriously because that's how I build my business. Lindsay here is a rock star at recruiting on the spot, so that is why we're doing this together. So you can see the benefits of both, okay? Because there's certainly benefits to both of them. So take it away.
Okay, so it starts very first with how you introduce yourself. So you need to think about what you're saying when you're introducing yourself and telling your little I story or whatever it is. You want to always make sure that you're saying something in your I story that is going to inspire them or impress them, or really, you really just want to talk from your heart, but you want to make sure that you share something inspiring and something, your goals as well. So before I was a sales director, I always had a goal that I was working toward, and I would tell them that goal. You know, I'm earning my first free car, and I'm so excited, and how it's going to change my life. And then now, obviously, that I've crossed the line, I tell them how it's changed my life and what my next goal is. So you always want to make sure, and I will really kind of gauge the room when I'm sharing that story. I'll really, at that point, kind of gauge the room to see who's engaged and see who got excited or, you know, seemed to enjoy what I'm saying. And so that's where it very starts for me, to kind of see like who in the room might have an interest or might have a need based on their response to sharing my story. Some of the important things that you want to make sure that you include is all the charitable works that Mary Kay does, because I've had a lot of people that was like the sole reason that they were so impressed with. So I think we forget about that sometimes, to mention that. So I think it's really, really important to include that in your story. And you don't want to have like a 10-minute I story or anything. I mean, you want it to be quick and to the point, but you just want to make sure that, you know, you're pointing out these key things. And one is really the charitable work. And just how this business is built on helping people, because that appeals to a lot of people too. I mean, that was one thing that really appealed to me. I've had several people join my team, and they're like, I didn't even think about this, but when you said helping people, that's what I do, that's what I love to do, you know? So, so really that's, you want to just paint a picture of why this opportunity is so awesome, just in a quick 3-minute, when you say it up, 3-minute I story in the beginning, when you're just kind of introducing yourself.
And when you're giving those company facts, you know, at the very beginning of the party, when you talk about, you know, here's some 5 quick fast facts about Mary Kay. You know, this year, obviously, I've been saying this is our 50th anniversary. It's a really big deal. We're a privately held, debt-free company. We sell over $4.6 billion in skincare and color cosmetics. The one thing you can add when you're giving that, you know, pick what facts roll off your tongue. Don't make it hard on yourself. Pick what works. But one thing that I have started adding into that is the Mary Kay Ash Foundation and what we do with that, because like Lindsay said, a lot of people who I've layered have watched the Leah Loughlin video and come back with, I had no idea the company was that involved in charity, and that's a really big difference for me, and that makes a really big deal to me. So, and I just but anyway, so you can add that into your quick fast facts. Just, you know, Mary Kay Ash, our charitable foundation, gives back so many millions of dollars, or focuses on this and that or whatever, and really quick, and then move on to your I story and make it inspirational. So that's a good place to put it in. Okay, and then obviously during, and I say obviously, but we've all been trained by the same method really, and that is sharing information about the actual business opportunity in a fun, no pressure, fun, incentivize with a prize kind of way during your party. Keep it short. Maybe let them ask 5 or 6 questions. Obviously, you can gauge your audience. You're going to have those audiences that are not into your game at all, and they're sitting there looking at you like this. Okay, so you still spit out the information, keeping it fun, and make it short. Move on, okay? And then you're going to have those parties where they just want to keep talking, and they just want to keep talking about it. And you know, what I would say is that gets exciting for you as a consultant because you're thinking, ooh, you know, I've got team members here, but you also have people in the room there that maybe aren't interested, and now they're getting kind of sick of this and maybe a little bit turned off because they think you're focused on only that, and that's not our focus when we're there. We're there to pamper people. So you need to really walk a fine balance, and so you want to make it fun, fast, incentivized, and then those people that are super interested, you talk to at the end, and that's where you answer all their questions and schedule a coffee or a phone call or whatever. But you don't want to let that affect the flow of your party. So there's a whole bunch of different ways out there to share the information in a fun, fast way at your party, and you're going to pick which way works best for you. Okay? In the beginning, you might pick a way, and then you might grow into another way. I was trained solely doing ticket marketing. That's all I ever knew. That's all I ever did. That's all I ever do, because I didn't know any other way. And ticket marketing, for those of you that don't know, is basically where you just say, hey, you know, now this is the time where we get to play a quick game. I love sharing about the information about this amazing business opportunity, and I like to do it in a fun way. So you're going to have a chance to win tickets towards a prize at the end. There's mainly 5 big questions. There's 2 bonus questions, but the great thing is whoever asks the first question gets 5 tickets. So who has the first question? And you're always going to have somebody raise their hand, whether they have a question or not, you know, because I think that happened last night.
Yeah.
She's like, now I have to think of a question. Okay, because you've got competitive people and they want the tickets, you know, but it gets the ball rolling, you know, and whenever I have said whoever asks the first question gets 5 tickets, I don't have any of those parties where they all just sit there. You know, there's somebody competitive who wants the tickets. They want the prizes, okay? So that is an easy format because you basically just talk from what you know. They're going to ask you 5 basic questions. How do you get the car? How do you get paid? How do you get started? Where do you get your leads? You know, those kind of questions. And you can just talk from your heart. If you don't have any information because you're so brand new, you can talk about what you've heard, what you've learned, or what your recruiter shared with you, or what your director shared with you. It doesn't have to be a personal experience. It can be, you know, facts from the company and those kind of things. But there are other games out there that you can play if you aren't comfortable with that. So, didn't you start out doing Mrs. Cow? Okay, so since you've done that, why don't you talk about Mrs. Cow?
Okay, so yeah, this is how I started out because I didn't feel comfortable. Like I was worried that somebody was going to ask me a question that I wouldn't have the answer like that. And I just wasn't comfortable with just kind of like figuring it out. So I started with Mrs. Cabs, and Mrs. Jen taught me at New Consultant Training. And Mrs. Cabs was fun. I mean, they really enjoyed it. And so basically you're just using these little this little acronym to just kind of point out the key things of what we do. And so you still do the tickets, so you still want to give out tickets because there's still a prize, and we're going to do a really fun game, so everybody grab your purse. And then we're just going to go through this, and then the first person to find something in their purse that starts with this letter gets a ticket. And so it's really fun because people pull out all kinds of random things out of their purse, and we can just all laugh about it. So it's just a really good time. And so the first one, N, and so people are pulling random things out. And then when somebody gets it, you're like, okay, they get a ticket, and then you tell them money, and then you talk about the money we make. And there's even like a little thing that you can use. So even if you don't know those facts just like that, you can just kind of, like I literally used this piece of paper, and that's how I started sharing. So.
Yeah, good. So this is actually on Jen's website and on our National Sales Director website. So you can print this off. And it's not laminated, of course. But okay, so anyway. Okay, so but this, just to expand on that a little bit, and this is CAB because it's M is for money, R is for recognition, S is for self-confidence, C is for cars, A is for advancement, B is be your own boss. So you talk about the flexibility and that kind of stuff. So anyway, this is a fun game you can play where they're not going to be asking you questions. You're just going to talk from the sheet so you can read from it. The other thing that you can do that kind of came out of Minnesota is Think Pink. And these are also on Jen's website. And they are little forms, little slips you can hand out at any time during the party. Some people do it at the end, some people do it in the middle. You can hand it out at any time. This is obviously a set of 4, and then you cut them in quarters. And they're little sheets they fill out, and it basically you're going to go over, you know, the facts about the company, and it's another acronym, PINK, and P stands for prizes, I is income, N is nothing to lose, you have nothing to lose, there's no obligation, and K is the starter kit. So you basically talk about those 4 things, you know. P is the prizes that we earn in Mary Kay. We earn all kinds of prizes, blah, blah, blah. I is the income, this is how we make our money, and you've got nothing to lose, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you talk about it like that, right? And then, the little one is. Okay, and then you hand out the little form and you ask them to just fill it out. And all that's on here is name, phone number, consultant's name, because we do sometimes use these in the studio in a big group, so we want to make sure we have the consultant's name. And then the first question is, what about the opportunity impressed you the most? The second is, after hearing the information about the company, please check the box that best describes you. And it says, the first box is, this sounds really good and I have nothing to lose, let's get started. The second is, I would like some more information, I'll listen to a hotline or watch a video and follow up with you in the next few days. 3 is, invite me to the next event, I'm intrigued. And 4 is, thank you for sharing the information, but I'm definitely not interested. And then what I do when I use these is I collect them. I tell them that they have to fill this out whether they're interested or not, because we're doing a separate drawing for a separate prize based on these forms. And then I collect them, and then I do a separate drawing based on these forms, okay? Because you'll have the people who aren't interested who don't want to fill it out. And so that's a good way to basically be like, this is why I'm doing it. We have another prize that we're going to offer based on just these forms. So be sure and fill it out whether you're interested or not, you know? And then what happens is you can collect these forms, and this is a great way, especially in the beginning when you're not really sure how to judge people's interest, to figure out their interest later. Because when you take these forms and you're looking at them to get them ready to do your drawing, you're like, oh, who knew that chick was interested, you know? So it kind of helps you gauge when maybe you don't really have that insight yet. Okay, so.
Can I just, one little thing that's great with those is too, people that say they want to come to an event, when you get home, you can categorize them and keep all the people that want to come to events, just put them in a little envelope, and then when an event comes up, you just get on the phone, call all those people in that envelope. So it's a great way to like follow up with people and just categorize when you get home about people you want to follow up with.
Absolutely.
And, Donna, can you emphasize that you don't have to give a whole lot away when we're doing these prizes and drawings, just keep that in mind.
Oh yeah, like a satin hand cream
Yeah.
sample.
So
A satin, sorry.
Oh,
Satin hand cream sample. A satin hand cream sample. Yeah, no, when I do a party at like 8, I'll give away maybe 4 prizes that cost me no more than $2 total. Okay, they're 50-cent things. Okay, maybe I have a grand prize that costs me $2. Okay, keep in mind that for prizes, you can use like the hand cream samples. You can use the pink sale items. A lot of times you can find some great stuff on pink sale, like they had some nail lacquers and lipsticks that were only costing you like $2, $3. So whenever you see stuff on the pink sale, I shouldn't tell you this because it's my secret. I like clean up the pink sale. I like buy them till they're out of stock because that's what I use for prizes for a long time. Because nail lacquers and lipsticks are like, you know, you can give those out and people get really excited about it. Okay. The other thing I was gonna say is, okay, no, I wasn't what's that. Okay, so I'm gonna pass this around so y'all can look at it because it is laminated and you have to look at it. Okay. So now we're gonna talk about when they come to the individual close. The magic that happens there that's going to determine if they are an on-the-spot type of lady or if they are a layered type of lady. So,
Okay, so with individual clothes, what I do, and like I said, from the beginning, I'm kind of gauging to see who I think, and that's not always going to be, you know, you're going to get surprised by it, but I kind of have a general idea of who was asking me questions, who seemed into it, who was fun, who had a good time. And then at the individual close, we've done a lot of training on that too, but if it's somebody that I really feel had a lot of questions, seemed really interested, when I sit down with her, I'll, you know, ask her if she had a good time, how does her face feel, and then I might give her a little compliment, like if she was a lot of fun, I'll say like, you were so much fun, it was so nice meeting you, I had so much fun with you tonight, and then I'll ask her, and I'll only do this if I think it's somebody who's really interested, will I ask her this before I ask her for the sale, and I'll say, just really simply, I'll say, so what did you think about the information that I shared with you tonight on the opportunity? And then at that point, you really have a good idea of how they're feeling about it. And if they feel a little bit like they don't know how to answer the question, they're like, and I'll say, just to kind of ease that pressure, because I don't want to make them feel like this is a pressure situation at all. I don't want to, you know, make them feel like that. So I'll just say, I know this is something you totally never thought about ever doing, but I just had so much fun with you tonight that I'd really love to know what you thought about the business opportunity. And that's really where I get the people who are ready to sign on the spot. They'll say, actually, it sounds really, really good. You know, and then I'll say, well, do you have any questions about it? And, you know, sometimes maybe they didn't catch, like, really how to get started. So they'll say at that point, like, yeah, how exactly do you get started? And so we'll have a quick conversation. If they have a ton of questions, then they are going to be like, let's get together for coffee, because you don't want to leave everybody waiting and spend, you know, 25 minutes with that person. So, and maybe if they're going to stay a while, I'll even say, well, are you going to be here a while? because we can chat some more, you know, after I check some more ladies out. So, or, you know, that might be the time where they're like, yeah, this totally isn't for me. You know, I just have no interest in it. So, I mean, if they really have no interest, then I'll just say, okay, thank you so much. I just really wanted to know what your opinion was. And if they're just really not sure, they're like, you know, something sounded good, but I don't really think it's for me, or I don't know if I could do this. I would still tell them, well, I still really value your opinion, and would you be interested in just taking a packet of information home for me, and then following up with either a quick video or a hotline and giving your opinion? It kind of helps me out, and it gets you entered to win a coach prize. So that's how I would, you know, get that kind of layering process. And if they don't want to, then, you know, they're really not interested, no problem. But most of the time they will. Most of the time they will, just to help you out.
So the really important information out of what she said is the way, the words she uses to ask them. So get your pencils out, or your iPads out. I'm not a note taker myself, but this is something you definitely want to write down, because it is the very, very simple language that makes the difference between having somebody feel like they can sign up that moment versus having somebody feel like they have to be layered, okay? And trust me, it's taken me years to learn this, so we're giving you insight right now. So say it again, how you word it.
So what I'll say is, and it's what I say every single time, I'll say, so what did you think about the information that I shared tonight about the opportunity? And that's when even people will surprise you. They'll be like, oh, it does really sound good, and I really could use the extra money. And a lot of people they're not gonna ask you. They're gonna feel uncomfortable being like sitting down with you and be like, okay, I wanna get started, you know? They just don't have that personality to just come out and ask you. So this just gives them the opportunity. Maybe they're like embarrassed, they don't know what their friends are gonna think about it, and you're in like a private setting and you're asking them, you're initiating that. So, you know, that's when a lot of people will be like, you know, it really does sound kind of good, and I really could use the extra money. And yeah, so that is just a simple line that I always say when I'm listening to somebody.
Louder.
Yep. So what did you think about the information that I shared about the opportunity? And like I said, if they kind of don't know how to answer that question, I'll always follow up with, I know this is probably something you never thought about doing ever. I just would really love to know what your opinion is. Because again, you don't want to make them feel uncomfortable and like, oh God, is this what this is? She's taking me in this private little corner to try to get me to sign up, you know? You're just really just asking, yeah, you're just really asking, you know, you just really value their opinion. And it's, you know, you don't want to make them feel pressure though.
So the difference between what she's saying and what I said for years was, I would always get to that point and say, did you have fun? Do you like how your face feels? Close the sale, book the second appointment. And just like I was taught, a lot of you probably were taught the same way. And then I would say, would you like to take additional information home about the opportunity? Great. Now they get into my little system and they get layered and we follow up and we follow up and we follow up. But those people who might have signed up that night think that that's not possible because I didn't give them the opportunity to do it. Okay? So like I said, it took a long time for me to figure that out, that those simple little flip of words make such a difference. Okay? So by her saying, what did you think about the information I shared about the opportunity, opens that door for them to talk about it right then and there. By me saying, would you like to take home additional information about the opportunity, automatically tells them that, okay, you can take this home and you can look at it and you can think about it and we can get back together at another later date. So they've already been shooed into the layering process. Okay, do you guys see the difference?
I just wanted to add the example there. You're asking an open-ended question. You're getting a yes or no answer. And so what you're doing is opening up for conversation.
Absolutely, absolutely. And by the way that I was wording it, it's eliminating the possibility of them signing up that night. Unless they're really bold and really are like, no, I don't want to take home information, I want to sign up right now. And I'll tell you that that's never happened. Never. Okay, so,
That will bring you very far, right there, realizing that difference, right there. When you don't give them an answer of a yes or no, that's what you always want to try to do.
yeah,
Because you're gonna get a yes or a no. Right.
yeah,
Keep it a conversation, keep
Yep.
it going, so if they don't know that they can sign up today, then maybe you can get to that point where they'll ask you, well, how do I do it? And then you finally develop into that, so that's a really
Yeah,
key,
it
you're
is.
gonna go far, girlfriend.
very, very key point. So, I encourage you all to really think about what you say, because when we get nervous, you know, in that individual close, and you get a little nervous, because maybe this is the time where I'm gonna ask for the sale, or whatever. We all have our own little, like, nerves about it, and when you get nervous, you go back to what you're comfortable with. You go back to what's program language. You go back to how you've always closed it before. And so I'm gonna challenge you to really practice at home, in front of a mirror, in your car while you drive, or whatever, saying the different words, saying the words that Lindsay's talking about. So what did you think about the information that I shared regarding the opportunity? Practice that. okay? Because then, when you get in front of that first person that you're gonna do your individual close with, then you'll be able to say those words. Those will come out of your mouth a lot easier if you practice. If you don't practice, you're gonna go, do you wanna take home some information? Yeah, so I'm telling you, it really, really makes a difference. It is really super important to layer people, because only your I's and D's are gonna sign up on the spot, and it's gonna be only 20% of the people that you come across in Mary Kay are gonna sign up on the spot. Okay, so I do feel strongly in layering, okay, because 80% of the people are gonna have to be layered to come in, okay? So if you are a strong recruiter on the spot, I applaud you, I admire you, I wanna be in your space, I wanna learn from you, but you know what, you're missing 80% if you don't have a layering process, okay? So you have to be good at both of them if you want to move up in this business as quickly as you can, because you can move up quickly in this business, okay? So let's talk really quickly about when they get shooed into the layering process, okay? Those people who enjoyed what you shared, but they just aren't sure, and they have some more questions, and they would like to be given some information, or can they come to an event, or can they listen to a hotline, or can they watch a video, or can they do something else? Those people, the 80%, okay? And I will say, first of all, we have an awesome program called this Coach Bag promotion, okay? And if you aren't using this for recruiting, you are missing the boat, okay? Because I will tell you, just the other day I had a consultant say, somebody watched the hotline, they are not interested at all. And I said, okay, well they took 20 minutes to listen to the hotline, so don't they want to get on the phone with me for 3 minutes? I mean, give me their opinion. Because as a consultant, it's so easy to say, I don't want to do that part. Because now I know she's not interested, why waste my time, why waste your time, let's just not do it, okay? Well, I'm going to tell you there's a lot of reasons why you want to do that, okay? One is, get them excited about entering to win a free Coach bag. Who doesn't want a free Coach bag? And if they say they don't, they're lying, okay? You can give it away as a present or something else. Whatever. Who doesn't want something free? I mean, come on now. But this is so super easy. All it is they fill out, you share the information. This is not ticket marketing, Mrs. Cab or Think Pink at the class and then have them fill out the coach entry form. That's not what this is about. This is only for people who listen to a hotline, any one of the 75 different hotlines that are out there. Pick one that you like and you relate to, or one that you think your person will relate to. This one that's on this postcard is Jen's hotline, okay? So Jen's hotline is great, powerful. You obviously need to listen to any hotline before you give it out. Don't give out a hotline that you haven't listened to, okay? Pam Higgs, our national, also has a great hotline, okay? And I actually just listened to, I'm embarrassed to admit, I just listened to it last week for the very first time. It is a powerful hotline, okay? And then the Leah Loughlin video also is an awesome tool out there, especially for your Gen Ys right now. It's a great recruiting tool. Daisha Wiegand has a video out there as well. There's a whole bunch of tools out there. You can use any one of those, hotlines or videos. Once they listen to a hotline or watch a video, they follow up with your director, okay? And once they follow up with your director, that's when you get to fill out this form, okay? And that's how you get the coach entry, okay? So don't just have them watch a video and shove the form in front of their face and go, okay, fill this out, and then take it and put it in your bag and walk out, okay? That's not doing anybody any good, okay? And so some of these questions your director may or may not ask them on the phone. This is not what I go by when I'm on the phone, and I gauge my interviews based on what reaction I'm getting from the people and what they're saying. But at the end of it, they can fill out their name, and then they can just write, director interviewed on it, and then their number that they are at the bottom, and this works for a coach entry, okay? So I encourage you to use this to get people on the phone with your director, because your director has the ability to overcome objections that you may not be able to, okay? And not that you won't ever be able to, and I'm not saying that at all. You may be awesome at it, and that's great. I'm so happy for you. But if you have the opportunity to have a director do it with you, you get to learn, you get to build your skills so that when you're a director, you are right out of the chute able to help your team members, okay? If you are stumbling along the way trying to do it yourself and not letting your director help you, then you're not going to feel confident about your own skills when you are a director. Okay, so I just encourage you to do it. Trust me, as a D, I fought it a long time, okay? But the easiest way, really, is to get on the phone with your director. It can be a 3-minute phone call, it can be a 15-minute phone call. It just depends on the person. And you might be surprised how many people end up going for it after talking to your director, okay? So that's the coach first entry form. The last thing I'm going to tell you, do you have something to say? Oh, yeah, sorry. Part of this important thing is that on here it has a date and a time for a follow-up. okay? Because when you ask them to watch a video or listen to a hotline, you're gonna say, and this is something that you need to do in the next 48 hours. This is something you need to do in the next 48 hours, okay? Because if you tell them you have to do it in a week, or you don't give them a deadline, don't even give them a postcard, because they're not getting back on the phone, okay? So, this is something you need to do in the next 48 hours. Do you think you can do it in the next 48 hours? They're gonna go, yeah? Okay, great. So Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, are you available? Does that work? Or does, Wednesday night work? Okay, great. You write it down on the card. You have an appointment. You give it to them. The next day, you're gonna text them, call them, email them, and you're gonna say, hey, I just wanted to remind you about our appointment we have on Tuesday night at 7 to get on the phone with my director and get your opinion. So you can be entered to win that free coach bag, okay? And then the day of the call with the director, you're gonna text them, email them, call them one more time, and just say, hey, I just wanted to check in, make sure you watched the video, because we have the call tonight at 7 with my director, and I really want you to get entered to win that free coach bag, okay? Because just because you make an appointment at 7, we all know they're not gonna get on the phone if you don't remind them, okay? Or when they do get on the phone, they haven't watched the video, okay? So it's really important to kind of touch base with them and keep it in a very short window of time, because they're really excited when they see you. They're excited at their party. They're excited about their products. They're excited about the opportunity, and then they're going to go home, and life is going to happen. The world's going to get in there, and all the doubters and naysayers are going to be talking in their ear, and by a week, they're done. They're gone. Say goodbye. Okay, so, do you have something else that I need to remember? Okay. So the last thing I was going to talk about is my very complex and complicated system for keeping track of who you've layered, okay? It's really high tech. It's called a spiral notebook, okay? Of course, I could not do the dollar store spiral notebook, because if you know me, that just isn't going to happen. But I have this super cute Vera Bradley one. Okay, so basically, it's sad. Okay. But, okay, basically this is all I do, is when I have somebody who I have had listen to a hotline or watch a video and followed up on the phone with or met for coffee, and they still have not signed. They're getting married and they want to wait until after their wedding, or they, I don't know, are having a kid and they want to wait until the kid's 6 months old, or whatever their long sordid tale is, they go in my little team building book, okay? If they have not watched the video and not gotten back to me, they don't go in my book, because they aren't interested, okay? So if they've watched the video, listened to a hotline, and gotten back with me, but they just aren't ready to pull the trigger yet, they go in my book. And in my book, it's so super simple. It says their name, their contact information, how I met them, where I met them, what date it was, what they watched or listened to, how that little call went, and then I have a contact history. So on this person, I emailed her on the 15th of July. On this person, I sent her an agreement. She never signed it. On this person, I left a message. Okay, so because I want to make sure I'm not bugging this person too much. Okay, but I also want to make sure that every single time I do actually talk to them or contact them and they're not ready to pull the trigger, I ask for permission to follow up with them. Okay, so I say, so I understand you're not ready now. Would it be okay if I contact you next month? Or if they told me in 6 months, I'll say, is it okay if I contact you in 6 months? And they'll say, yes, that's fine. Great. If they say, no, I'm really not interested, okay, they get X'd out. See, I have X'd out people in here, okay? So those are people I'm not contacting anymore because they're not interested. But I do have people in here that I've had in here for a long time, and every time I talk to them, they say they're still interested, but there's something else that's standing in their way, whatever. But then I have people who sign their agreement. Look, yay, woohoo! Okay, so one thing I know, it's sad, but you need to keep track of them because otherwise you're going to forget about them, right? If you just put them on their notes on their profile card and you file that away in whatever your system is, you don't know who those are, and you're not going in there. Let's get real. You file your profile cards away and you never look at them again, okay? So you gotta have some sort of system to keep track of it, whether it's a spreadsheet, whether it's an automatic reminder, it doesn't matter, or a notebook. Have a way to keep track of it. And then the only thing, I know it's late, there's one other thing I just wanna share with you that I just learned last night at the event. And if any of you all were here, I had 3 guests here, they had all been previously pampered. I had offered the opportunity to 2 out of 3 of them. They were following up with me. One of them actually watched the video and we were going to go to coffee at the end of the month. The other one wouldn't get back to me. She wouldn't return my emails, nothing. And the third one I never offered it to. And at the end of last night, all 3 of them signed, but that's not the important thing. The important thing is the one that I never offered it to, she said, I was ready to sign up the night of your party, but I didn't know how and you never mentioned it to me. Wow. And I share that with you because I didn't offer it to her. She did nothing for skincare, she did no makeup, she bought a roll-it back because she loved everything, and I just thought she's probably not interested because she was just really plain Jane, like not interested at all. And so I didn't offer it to her, I didn't ask her if she wanted more information, I didn't do anything. And she told me that last night, she said if you would have said something that night I probably would have signed up, but I You didn't ask me, and so I didn't. So, big lesson on making sure that you open your mouth and you ask everybody, because you never know. So, thank you so much for staying so late tonight. I enjoyed celebrating our 50th anniversary with you all, and,
I just wanted to share on something. That book right there is just pure awesome. It is. I'm gonna tell you guys, can I borrow it for a minute?
what, this book?
Your book, can I
My
open
precious
your book?
I guess so.
I want to share something with you.
It's not typed in my note.
That's okay. We'll excuse you this time. I just want to tell you guys that tracking your work is so important, but what's more important than even that is having someone to track, right? Look at these numbers, okay? Don't think because we're directors, we don't work the numbers, because we all know, what is this business? It's mathematical, it's not magical, okay? And when you share this opportunity, with the more women you share it with, the more you're gonna have a resource to track, and that is gonna bring you the numbers that you need. But don't be afraid of, asking, like Donna said, I didn't ask her. Wow, that was a learning experience, just right there for all of us, right? Just, be like a recorder and just spit it out, because you never know really what they're thinking. And we're so nervous half the time that we think she wouldn't want to do it. But really just, really become like a recorder and just have your systems in place. And you will not only feel better with that, you'll feel more in control of your daily, your daily life. You'll just know exactly what to do. So just be a pro at really replaying with everybody the same thing. Everybody's treated the same way. Okay, I'm here at this class, we're gonna get this packet, we're gonna go and do this now. And you'll just be like, well, I'm in. So I'm so excited. Thank you for sharing that. I had a warm chat book like this, and I grew my business, I worked my business after my full-time job, and I would go and warm chat. I built my business on completely warm chat, and I would do it out of my home, and I had a book just like that, and I would tape it, and I would write on the back where I met her. And every day that I came home, the previous day, I would call those people, and right at the top, I would say, kind of like this tracking sheet, what I did. I left her a message. I would always leave a quick, short message, follow up when I said I was going to. But the great thing was is that I had 2 or 3 books like this just through my DIQ that I didn't care if you canceled on me because I had 15 women after you. And all I had to do was take off my skirt and go put my pajamas on. And I had my business rolling. So really just work the numbers, ladies. It's awesome. It'll happen. So.
Right.